Boas a todos. This is a Raspberry Pi 4 laptop that I designed and 3D printed it. Inside there's a Raspberry Pi 4 Model B with 4 GB of RAM. Attached to it is a small 40 by 40 and 10mm high fan that's cool going down. Though personally I encourage you to buy the Fan Shim from Pimoroni. It's easier to set up, and you can even use a small script that turns the fan on and off according to the temperature. It's connected to the Raspberry Pi 7-inch display, the official one, white keyboard, and Raspberry Pi mouse. I've built it using Red PLA, though if you want you can use PTEG, red also. I think it goes quite well with red and white theme, and it cost me less than 200 euros. You can save a few bucks if, for example, you use a Raspberry Pi with less RAM. It's up to you, or if you already have some of the components. Though I'm calling it a laptop, you can unscrew the top case and use it as a tablet, since this is a touchscreen and you might not want to use the keyboards. It functions using 2 hinges, so it's a double hinge design. Here's one and there's another. It rotates from fully closed, sorry about the elbow, to this position. So it has about 145 degrees of motion. The top hinge also has the same degree of motion, and you can even swing it fully around and do something like this. But this isn't practical. So I find that this most useful feature is, say you're sitting on a desk, you might want to angle it like this, or in my case, if you're standing up, you might want to use it like this. The hinges are made using M7 bolts connected to M7 nuts, and in between there's a couple of washers, also 3D printed, that provide necessary friction so that the display stands put. Since it's a bit top heavy, some of sorry about the elbow again, some of these angles it's not really able to keep put. Another thing that I wanted to talk about are the access ports. At the moment it's connected to a battery pack. So as you can see, there's no issue connecting it. Next to it, the micro HDMI, if you're using, say, a micro HDMI to HDMI cable adapter, which is kind of bulky, you can connect it. I've tested it. There's not an issue. Audio, just plug here to the audio jack. Here are the Ethernet and USB ports, and on the back side there are 2 USB ports, and the third one, it's a bit difficult to access, though you can still use it. I've also wanted to talk about a few fabrication or assembly tips. When you're 3D printed, most of these models were printed at 0.2 millimeter layer height. Infill, I really used a little infill, about 10%, and a gyroid pattern. Though in the case of the bolts and nuts, I do suggest that you use at the maximum a 0.15 millimeter layer height. Because of the threads, it needs it needs that extra detail. The bigger pieces, for example, the keyboard holder. Let me see if I can remove this. It's made from 2 pieces, and okay. And if you remove it from the bed while it's still hot, it will tend to curl up a bit, so warp. If this happens to you, just put it in the bed. After it up to 55, 60 degrees Celsius, put a weight on it, and then let it fully cool down. This happened to me, and I wanted to share with you a way to solve this problem. The display case is a really snug fit for the display. It's designed to be a snug fit, so be gentle when you're trying to put the screen in. Put pressure on the center of the screen, not on the sides. The glass is quite thin there, or on the metal plate on the back sides. Though I really suggest that you do a bit of post-processing, lots of sanding. The display is designed to sit flush, so it protects its corners. So take your time. You might even want to scale it up, the model a bit, say 1% or 1.5%. Another thing is the washers. I'm using two washers. The hinge by design has about 0.4 millimeter gap, and these washers will provide the friction necessary to make that display doesn't fall. It balances nicely. If you really want more friction on these hinges, just increase the layer height to say 0.2 millimeters on the washers, and don't forget to tighten the nuts to the bolts so they're snug. There's also a few issues with this design. There's a minor wobble on the display, though when you're using it normally it doesn't shake or wobble, so I don't find it that's much of an issue. Probably want to increase the infill to say 20% if it's really bugs you. For me it doesn't. Another thing, I really must insist that you sand display case, and don't use brute force. Don't crack your display. Be very careful with the display. The most important, and which I find kind of nagging, are the access to the USB 3 ports. Say you're using a normal length USB pen, which is about this size. You'll find that you can't connect it to these ports. Just there's not enough wiggle room. The solution is use the back ports on the keyboard hub Personally, I don't find it much of an issue. You usually use a USB pen to transfer small files. If by any chance I want to transfer something bigger, then I'll just SSH into the Pi, or say you're using Kodi to stream video to the flat screen. In that case, just create an SSHFS or an NFS drive, that you can use to easily access your films from your home server. Use cases. Personally, since my 3D printers aren't near any computer, and sometimes I need to change the G-code or slice a new file, mod the design, and just going back and forth between my home and the place where I keep them, it's not really feasible. So I can use this to run Clipper or run a slicer. The Raspberry Pi is quite capable of slicing a file. The old Raspberry Pi 3, even the B Plus, couldn't do it quickly. It was quite slow. It's up to you what you use it for. You can even run Raspberry Pi on it. And play old games. So in this case I'm running Baldur's Gate. Let's see if it doesn't crash. It didn't. Miracle. I see it's a miracle because at the moment it isn't overclocked to its standard 2147 megahertz and 750 megahertz on the GPU, because if I do this, it won't boot using this battery bank. If you're curious, this is 10,000 milliwatt hours battery bank, and it outputs at 2 amps. Oh, and as you can see, it's raining, and it's running quite smoothly. And that's about it. If you have any issues 3D printing it or assembling it, just give me a shout out or comments, or leave a comment on this video. Thanks for watching.